Hey, everybody. Hey, Judd. It's Talking Smack over Mac and Cheese, the anti-show. So Judd and I are we're trying to really just open this up, right, Judd? Judd talked to me. Judd did a talking to me. Judd had a talking.
That's right.
And he's like, Rob, stop dominating the show. Stop, let's be what we started. Let's be ourselves. And there's a good point, because I try to take control. And Judd's like, just let's do what we started with here, which is, we're just talking
like the open. Welcome to television, people. This is what really goes on behind the show. This is what we thought we'd do, Rob and I. Listen, Rob has been a celebrity talk show host for a long time.
Whatever.
We've been doing our show with Michael Loftus for a couple years here. So the question is what do news personalities who are friends really talk about politics while eating food behind the scenes? Because you know what? Right. There's so many people in citizen journalism that have great graphics and look like they know what they're doing, that stutter a lot.
Right.
You're like, wait a minute, dude. Well, who are you? What's going on? Where's news? What's happened in news? So this should be anti-news.
So it is anti-news. And that doesn't mean we're not talking. Right. It doesn't mean we're not going to talk about news. It means we're going to just try to be whatever. We're talking about trying to be. It's kind of funny. But the reality is, Judd, I love Judd. We get into it, right, Judd? We're being a little more transparent about this, and it's fun because we get to jump behind the scenes a little. We jump into the sort of the realities. Two friends, and we're distanced right now. It's more fun side by side, but two friends talking politics, eating food, and it's just what people do everywhere, right, Judd? I mean, that's what you said. It's kind of, this is how people live.
Hey, everybody's going to be, this is Thanksgiving. This is our Thanksgiving episode, man. It should be Talking Smack over turkey, actually. I wasn't even
thinking. But we went Mac and Cheese because you were sick.
Yeah, it should be Talking Turkey over turkey this week, but this is the week where food and politics come. There's actually all these articles running is like how to talk about politics during Thanksgiving.
Right.
Here's my answer. Don't talk about politics this Thanksgiving. That's the answer.
No, the answer is to talk about it over Mac and Cheese and turkey.
Yeah.
Judd, can we say that you were sick? Is that okay? Or is that?
Yeah. So I actually said
Judd got the COVID. No, I'm just kidding. Judd didn't get the COVID.
I have COVID. That's true. It's true. I just spread it. I don't have it.
You were in the hospital. You got sick. Your stomach thing, whatever.
I did. So I'm going to pivot to food real quick. So today, for our people that like food and politics, back to Amy's vegan rice mac and cheese, which I love, by the way, which is my comfort food. So I said, Rob, I haven't been feeling well. Thanks, Bruce. You can take the close down. And then here I am eating this food. There's a reason, because my little boy inside doesn't like being in the hospital, so I'm going to eat some mac and cheese.
Judd, you said to me, here's mine. Mine is Panera. Panera. Take a close-up, Bruce, just for a second.
Bring it in,
Bruce. There's mine. Panera. I'm sorry, not Panera. What am I saying? Okay, back to Judd. Not Panera. I was going to go to Panera, but then I was like, I want to do something different. So I found a barbecue joint. It's called ABB Barbecue, ABBQ, whatever. And so I'm take a bite of this mac and cheese from a barbecue place in Jacksonville.
That's real mac and cheese. That's mac and cheese. I love mac and cheese. I grew up in the South.
It's all right. I'll be honest. It's not the best. I like the craft.
No, yeah. You make a little thing when you're at home. No, it's good. I got to tell you though, I'm sorry. Like mac and cheese is fattening and it's not great for the digestive system. I've got full on rice and soy-based mac and cheese, and this is awesome, man.
It sounds horrible.
So can either of you cook? Well, I cook exceptionally well with the microwave.
I cook exceptionally well with a grill.
But someone asked, one of our viewers just asked, what happened to me? Hey, Monkey Arms, good to see you again, buddy. Thanks for coming back to the show. So I have an interesting story. It's actually interesting about America, if you think about it, because I have these scars. I have like a 10-inch scar and a 7-inch scar on my stomach. I've had 13 surgeries and 30 intestinal blockages. So if it wasn't for the medical advancement of America and the world, I'd be dead in a different century.
Right.
So every like year and a half, my stomach shuts down. I'm crawling on my knees. They give me Dilaudid. They pump my stomach, and I just got out yesterday, and I look pretty good for that right now.
You do.
I haven't eaten in like 5 days. This is the first piece of solid food I've had in 5 days, and Rob and I are like, the show must go on.
And make your own Mac, says Monkey Arms.
Yeah.
So, Judd, you think Monkey Arms is a guy? I think Monkey Arms is not a guy.
I really don't care. It's probably more like an independent centrist You know, who knows?
Monkey arms.
I don't care what your gender is, monkey arms.
Monkey arms. Which pronouns do you use? He, she, gender neutral. The whole pronoun thing's killing me.
Hey, you know what's going to be so exciting? I am so excited. Let's jump in. I am so excited for a little bit. If you know, I don't think Biden's going to win, and I'm sorry. We'll talk about that.
Oh no, here we go.
We're jumping in, and I got to tell you, I am looking so forward. If he does, to cancel culture, identity politics, critical race theory, and repressed economy. I'm going to be eating mac and cheese every week, being like, "What happened to Trump?"
You are in denial. You're in denial. Monkey arms is the we. We pronoun.
Right, that's their pronoun of choice.
Listen, Judd, seriously. This is like an intervention, okay? I'm intervening.
I'm intervening on you. Go ahead.
No, I know you do. And then I'm going to, after you respond to it, I'm going to give you the reason why I say this. But I just feel like, you know, everyone on the right gets mad. Not everyone. A lot of people get mad at, you know, Tucker Carlson for saying, show us the evidence. And you even blew me up, Judd, and said, you're getting fake news. Like, all people are saying is, I've said there was fraud, but you got to have enough to show that it's going to change the election. And so far, they say outside of court one thing, then they go into court and they don't say the same thing. And they're not showing strong. And I'm not saying there isn't fraud. I'm saying not enough to overturn the election unless they can show this major irregularity on the database machine. So why aren't you kind of going, you know what? I don't think we got it here. I don't get it. It's this resistance to like say, the facts might not line up for us here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely wrong because I'm absolutely an intelligent American citizen. Look, they put back in 1775, they put in elements into our Constitution that foreign influence and people could not steal the vote. Is anybody more concerned about this? We do not have a fourth branch of government called the media. And the media is not elected by us. And the media is taking anything the Trump camp says, flipping it over and saying, oh, whatever the Biden camp has done, the Trump camp has done. And they're telling the big lie again and again and again. So if you look at the election, at the amount of the lawsuits, Rob, they have 3 major lawsuits. 1 was delayed. 2 are still standing. There's been like 20 others. A bunch of them were frivolously thrown out. So we haven't had any explanatory evidence because we haven't gone to a Supreme Court. We haven't gone to the courts yet.
Well, okay.
I feel confident we're going to win. And I'm going to stand on that. I think the news has been hijacked and big tech.
Okay.
And this is the big lie, bro. And tell me that I need to accept something.
So this sounds to me like Russian collusion for 3 years. Like never really showing the full evidence, just saying it's what it is. I'm being honest here, Judd. They have not shown evidence to show enough fraud to change the election. They've shown fraud, but not enough to change the number of votes they need in the states they need. And the only way they will have that is if they can show that the Dominion software was hacked. And they're saying
Newsmax yesterday. Why is Newsmax right-wing propaganda? Because they're not.
No. What I'm saying is, then Sidney Powell needs to show that evidence, and she's saying she will. And if she shows that evidence, I will agree with you. But would you agree that if she doesn't show that evidence, if they can't produce the evidence, then they don't have the case? Like
Tucker retracted the next day. Tucker went back to his fan base and retracted. Mark Levin has never changed his point of view. Lou Dobbs has never changed his point of view. Jesse Waters has never changed.
Okay. I don't care.
All the opinion guys that aren't owned by Disney are now saying, "Hey, you know, I'm going to continue." They're actually pivoting back to the story. Why? Simple
thing, man. Simple thing. If they have the evidence, they need to show the evidence. And I get that there was.
When did they show the evidence?
What?
When do they show the evidence?
When they go into court.
Right, and then we're not in court yet, are we?
They are in court.
Why are we actually adjudicating before we've even gone into explanation?
No. They've been in court in multiple states, and they go into court, and they were asked in court if they think there is widespread fraud, and in court the lawyers said we don't think so.
Which there already is widespread fraud. There's 14 affidavits of people flipping polls. What Rudy Giuliani has alone is enough for a national crisis of confidence. In 2003, Democrat senators were challenging the validity of Dominion. In 2007, Elizabeth Warren was challenging the validity of Dominion. Okay. So why are we what's the rush? Why do you want certainty in this situation? I prefer justice over stability.
Okay, all I'm saying is I'm not going to go into the details on this because it becomes a useless argument. It's what I said about Russian collusion. What I'm saying is monkey arms, they've been in court 35 times. Yes, they have. But Judd, here's my point. I feel like people like you on the right are now doing what people on the left did, which is locking down and saying no matter what, we're right. Instead of going, you know what? I don't know. They need to show the evidence, and maybe they will, and maybe they won't. But until they do,
why does that invalidate my position? My position is to stand with what I believe. There was if you look at the way, if you look at the statistics, you look at the evidence, you look at the affidavits, there was a massive push to steal the election. Yes or no? Was there enough to win?
You're doing what the left did. You're literally, Judd, hold on.
I'm waiting for the evidence.
Judd, you could literally be. You're like Adam Schiff, but better looking. You're Adam Schiff, but smarter and better looking.
I'm slower. I'm more patient, and I don't need stability. You know, Rob. You know there was graft in this situation.
I said there was, but I don't think there was enough to overturn.
Who are you to tell me and my friends, my 72 million friends? Who are you to tell us that I should just accept Rob's opinion without?
I didn't say you should. I said I didn't say you should. Well, first of all, I'm Nostradamus, so you know what I say is going to happen.
You are extremely wise and
I called Trump the day he came down the elevator.
Yeah, 4
years ago. I've called every single one of these things right. I called it right on COVID and lockdowns. I called it right on Russian collusion from the beginning, not because I politically wanted Trump to be right. I was like, they don't have the evidence. They're making crap up. I'm Ukraine, everything. So all I'm saying is I'm being fair to the other side here and going, I think there was fraud. There was definitely fraud. And as I said, I think mail-in ballots opened the door to widespread fraud, and I think Democrats knew that. But I don't think there's enough provable fraud to overturn the 80,000 votes they need in various states to flip those states. It's odd that it's only 80,000 votes. That's one thing I think people don't realize, Judd, how close these races are. Georgia's like 12,000 people. That's the difference. You lose by 12,000. It's crazy.
Are you in Florida because you look better with a tan? Because, you always have a better tan than me. I just want to say that.
You look pasty, dude.
I am pasty, man. I've been in the hospital throwing up for 5 days. So,
but not with the COVID. Okay, but let me tell you why, Judd. Here's the thing for me.
But I want you to slow down, and I want you and I, before you present your case, I want to ask you, please hold your thought. I want to go back and forth, and let's go back and forth, just as friends, and let's talk about ways that real election fraud happened. Just you do one, I'll do one. Okay, mine, let's say dead people on the roll one way. Next, you. Just go ahead. Let's just play a game.
Okay, this is annoying, but okay. People write, I said there's fraud. People get a ballot in their mailbox that they don't live there anymore.
Let's go through the ways. Let's just play a game.
No. But here's my point. I'm not saying there isn't fraud. My point is the bigger issue. And this is what's frustrating me, that we're in this left-right thing where each side does what the other side did. And this goes back to my childhood. I was raised in a very conservative Christian faith. And the way my family interpreted that faith was extreme. And the extremity was, we didn't go to doctors, we didn't go to hospitals. I'm a medical miracle in that I survived all kinds. I had so many things, from tetanus infections to measles, mumps, chicken pox, God knows what else. I had scarlet fever. Nobody else in the world had it. Anyway, my point is, I was taught to sort of like look at the world a certain way and deny everything else. So it sounds crazy if you're out there. And again, I get it. It was an extreme interpretation of this faith but I literally had to turn the sound off on commercials for medicine. I had to, when my dad was in bed dying from a stroke. We were pretending he was okay. His business partner at 20 years couldn't get him on the phone and said to me, can you get your dad on the phone? I'm like, he's resting. He's like, he's resting. He hasn't missed a day of work in like 7 years, and he hasn't been in work for 4 days. So I learned to lie to support the narrative that was out there. And I have a fundamental resistance to whenever I see people fighting for a narrative, no matter what. We're right no matter what. We're right no matter what. That's all I'm saying. And I think you're doing that a little, just like the left did with Trump and impeachment.
Okay,
that's my thing.
I appreciate
personal revelation of where it comes from.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and I understand. dysfunctional family dynamics because I'm an American and I grew up in an ACO kind of alcoholic family with a lot of, of the same kind of dynamics in the family, where you wouldn't betray certain trust and you'd support narratives to protect the integrity of dysfunction. I get it, but I'm viscerally offended. Jimmy Stock's point that he just brought up on the screen is, I'm more concerned about us. I'm more concerned about America. Don't rush my ability to certify and verify the truth. And until my opinions is proved negative, I'm going to say, because look, I've stood by with, I've been around for a long time like you have. I stood by through election fraud. I've stood by through impeachment. I stood by with the 25th Amendment. I've stood by with Trump is racist. I've seen the false narrative for the entire time. I don't trust the left. Don't tell me to trust the left. Don't tell me that suddenly this psycho ex-girlfriend that I've been dating, who keeps burning down my house, boiling my cat, stabbing me, and telling all my friends that I'm a pedophile, is suddenly a trustworthy person because the left has acted like that.
Wow.
And I want them to verify their claims.
That's good.
Seriously, fuck you. Oh my God. I need you to verify your claims. You've been pissing me off for years. I am
Judd,
I want clarity.
I care for America too. I've said from the beginning, this legal process plays out. They have till December 14th. I am not saying they shouldn't be in court. I've said to everyone who watches this show, they have the right to be in court. They have the right to contest. They have the right to call for recounts. And there was fraud. But my point is, the people in your camp, Judd, won't acknowledge the possibility that maybe the fraud wasn't widespread enough to spill the election, or it's not provable enough. You just keep insisting, like the Democrats and the left did with Trump. It doesn't matter what our evidence shows. And my concern is, if they don't show evidence on Dominion, here's my question to you. If they don't show evidence of the computer, not a theory, actual evidence that they can prove that Dominion software was used to hack from outside the U.S. and hack servers.
Smartmatic in Germany.
If they don't prove that, will you then go, guess it didn't happen, or will you do what the Dems did and go, when they couldn't prove anything, no, we're still right, it's just some crazy thing happened and we couldn't prove it, like, oh, the servers disappear, whatever? Because that's what bothers me. Will you acknowledge if they can't prove it in court, because you're going to have a favorable court ruling, because ultimately the Supreme Court's conservative? Will you acknowledge, I guess it wasn't there? Or will you just insist that it was there and they just didn't show it?
And I think Monkey Arms is way off base as well. It's like, stop.
You didn't answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer it right now. Stop and slow down for a second. You're so interested in solving the discomfort in our democracy in the moment that you're assuming that Trump is not going to concede office if he doesn't win. You're assuming that Republicans are in denial. It's offensive. We're just asking for verification.
We've
got a coup going on for 4 years. There is a deep state.
I understand.
There are things that actually happen.
But you're missing my point. You're missing my point, buddy.
You're acting like I'm in some kind of denial.
No, I didn't say.
My stomach right now.
Wait. I didn't say Trump won't concede. No, but you're putting words in my mouth. I never said Trump won't leave office. He will leave office. I mean, he wants to leave office so he can come back in again, ride back in round 2. He's not going to stay and go to prison. My point is not that. You avoided my question, which was, if they cannot prove it. Well, it's this absolutism that bothers me, Judd. I don't need harmony in the moment. I want common ground. It's the absolutism of both sides. And I get it. You're going, well, they were absolutists to us, so we're going to be absolutists back. Well, that's why the Middle East was a fucking train wreck for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. I'm wrong. Because no one wants to go, oh, they did it to me, I'm doing it to them. And it's sort of like, okay, I get why you're pissed at them. I get for years they screwed you.
Can we tone it down a little bit, bro? I'm saying right now.
Worked up.
No, I get it. You get worked up. That's where you can go because you're a 7-year Fox channel and.
Oh, stop with that, Mr. Newsmax. Stop with that, Mr. Newsmax.
And what I'm telling you right now is this dialogue to half of the country is kind of offensive. Right. And everyone's assuming that we're radical or we're deluded or we're revenge-based, where all I care about is justice.
Okay, so I didn't assume you're deluded.
The integrity of our system, I think, beyond your look. I don't know where you're getting your information. Why has Trump been hiding? Well, first of all, I want to say Trump's been my president right now has been hiding. He just did an amazing job in the no favored nations big pharma. He's been working on the country. Of course, everyone will accept defeat, but why are people going? Why are people going to that? We're not the left. We don't riot. We don't burn things down.
I see you guys. It's a Judd show. Bye-bye. No, I'm just doing a Judd on you. Listen, dude, you know, I agreed to stop saying you're not a racist, but you have not agreed to stop doing the Fox thing on me. It's your little thing where you go 7 years pro, whatever, as if that's going to, like, you know, whatever, to jab me, and I get it. Wait, but I got to tell you a funny story, because this is a good thing for you, because you know John Hamm, the guy for Star Mad Men? Mm-hmm. So I knew John Hamm back in the day before he was the star of anything. He'd been on like some like cable show, but small, like an ensemble. And I had my show on Fox, one of my shows on Fox. And I remember him saying to me, you know, man, you've got it all, whatever, like you're doing great, you know, like I want my own thing or whatever. And he did that sort of same thing you did where it's kind of like, you know, you're the whatever. And then look what happened. He becomes like, you know, the star Mad Men, 10 times, 50 times bigger than I ever was. So you saying that about me means you're going to be like 50 times bigger. And in like 2 years, it's going to be like the Judd Dunning, Tucker Carlson Empire show. And you know, so did that make any sense?
Yeah. Hey, I'm just going to say, hey, Monkey Arms, until you find a new angle, except to say that I haven't answered the question I had, you know, I really don't want to hear your comments. Because this is the issue.
Whoa. Sorry, Monkey Arms.
What's happening?
He's doing the Adam Schiff on you, Monkey Arms. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
Adam Schiff again. I'm going to log off.
Come on.
Because Rob, no, it's expensive. No, stop. Why are you going after the right for verification and certification? We're just like, hey, it's rational. Jimmy Stock said that. What the most important question is there fraud? So they say, let me just say, there's also reports this may go back to why Bernie lost to Hillary. Because Bernie seemed like he actually had Hillary before. This may have affected other people. They've also said that this may have been in place for so long that people have been able to buy elections on both sides of the aisle, Rob. On both sides of the aisle.
Judd, you keep saying the same thing. And I want to shift gears in a second. I have, and Monkey Arms keeps asking the same question. I have not said that you don't have a right to seek verification. I have defended the right for Trump and his team to challenge this election any way they want. And I have said there was fraud. I don't think it was widespread or provable enough widespread to change the outcome. And my point is, you keep going back to why won't you let us? I will let you. I'm asking, if at the end of the day they don't go into court and show that evidence, will you accept that either they didn't have it or they were wrong, or will you insist that somehow they were screwed by the courts?
Do you remember when Trump?
No.
I'm going to answer this the right way.
You said that before and you didn't answer.
You remember when Trump actually disavowed white nationalists and the Proud Boys? They kept asking him 3 or 4 times to say the same thing. I'm not going to continue this conversation. We can pivot to another point of view. This is a technique and it's a tactic. And if we just say the same thing over again in media, people buy the big lie. We have a fourth arm of government, which is media influence, and it's repeating the same questions. It's not a tactic. No.
Do you do this at home? Is this how you argue at home? Is how you argue with your wife?
My wife, are you kidding me?
I will not answer your question, honey. I will not answer your question. I want your wife on the show. Bring her on. I want to hear her side.
You think I'm tough?
Okay, let's talk a few minutes of COVID. Answer. Monkey Arms. Hey, you know what, Judd? For Monkey Arms' sake, simple answer: yes or no. Come on. Will you, if they don't win in court, and if they don't show the evidence, and it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, will you accept that perhaps you were wrong or they didn't have it? Or will you say that
horrible white nationalists, bad people? Yeah.
No, will you? Will you?
And I've answered this question like 5 times. I said,
you didn't say yes.
And verification, then we'll accept the results. And
okay, good. That's all I wanted.
I said it like 6 times.
My new Judd, man, I love you.
Dude, I love you. 2 years. 2 years. These years heard me say like 6 times, sure, rationality. Yeah, Rob, exactly. Why have you come to the conclusion it's not fraud?
I didn't say there wasn't fraud.
I haven't paid my Vegas bookies. I
said there is tons of fraud. It is not, because I've done the math. It is not, unless the computer glitch, if they can, the computer hacking, if they can show Dominion, if they can show that, But the other fraud is widespread, but so much of it's not provable. And the number of cases they can prove it is not enough ballots to change the outcome in the states they have to change. That's all I've said. I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it happened.
Our voting systems are now openly compromised. And the left, when they get in office, they're not going to do IDs. They're not going to do thumbprints. This is going to get worse. I know lots of people who have.
Why I'm feeling defensive? I'm feeling defensive because, again, I am not saying there wasn't fraud. I'm saying there wasn't enough fraud that they can prove, except if they can prove Dominion.
Personally,
whatever.
Besides,
I want to talk about COVID. I want to talk about something fun.
Hold on. I mean, besides the point you said, which I thought was beautiful, about being in a dysfunctional family and how it relates to truth and repeating the same falsities and how you're uncomfortable with that. Why do you, as an independent, have such a passionate interest in debunking the right's position of just trying to preserve election integrity? Why?
I'll answer that.
For you personally?
I'll answer that. Because I don't. But that same question was asked to me by the left over the last couple of years. Why, as an independent, do I have such a determination to debunk their claims about Russia? And I said, I'm not determined to debunk anybody's thing. I'm determined that we all look at the truth. And I said, you have a right to prove your case. I said the Democrats had a right to prove their case around impeachment. But at a certain point, I asked Democrats the same thing. If you lose this time, will you accept that he didn't do it? And they said yes. And then as soon as they lost, they came up with another reason why he did do it. And I was like, you won't quit. And I'm asking the same question of the right, not because I'm picking on the right, but because I fear the same thing. I see it already happening. When I go, if you can't prove the servers, will you go, we don't have it? Instead of just a simple, yeah, of course, it's this weird denial. Like I said it 100 times. It's like, it's a simple question. If you can't paint the house green, will you, I'm terrible with analogies. I suck, but you guys know what I'm getting at.
I love what Jimmy said. I mean, listen, Trump is my president, but the GOP is my party. Why? Because I believe in peace, freedom, and prosperity. I believe that our country, that the government is not the best person to run the choices of my life. I believe there's enough structure in the free markets, there's enough structure in big government for us to survive without tons of legislation. And I don't want to harm our people with too much taxation. I don't want to harm our people with too much legislation. I don't want to harm ourselves with going through this whole thing about trying to heal a planet that we can't afford to do for $100 trillion for 0.003 temperature change over 100 years to move us to socialism. I don't like COVID's overreach and restructure.
I don't either, Judd. I'm with you.
I am defending our party's ability to stay in control here and also focus Georgia to the very bitter end because there's some dangerous agendas out there.
Okay, and again, not argue the bitter end. Monkey Arms, we're going to talk COVID, but Monkey Arms, I disagree with you. You said they didn't lose. He was impeached. They lost. They impeached him in the House, which they knew they could do from the start. They knew from the start they weren't going to get it through the Senate. They knew it was a political sham. I'm picking on the left right here now because, again, it's just what Republicans did with Clinton. And it's like, at the end of the day, they knew they were never going to get him out. They knew it was never going to happen. They played a political game that took up tons of money, tons of time, just to sabotage his presidency. And whether you like Trump or not, by sabotaging his presidency for 4 years, you guys on the left did exactly what you're accusing people on the right of doing right now. You prevented him. You accused the right of preventing Biden from coming in and taking over, doing whatever. That's what you guys did for 4 years to Trump. You prevented him from trying to be an effective president by attacking him on claims that they never had the basis to prove. I said they didn't have the basis to prove it. I was right. They didn't. Everything's showing they didn't, from Mueller's investigation to the more recent FBI texts and all that stuff. And yet they knew they couldn't get him out of office. They did the impeachment at our time and our expense. So that pisses me off just as much. Can we talk COVID, though? Can we talk lockdowns, Judd? Because it's Thanksgiving, and we are about to hit the most, not in Florida, but, man, where you are in California, I mean, they're going nuts, dude. I mean, literally, it's like nothing is, they're going back to total ultra lockdown. And if you say anything bad about it, you're going to get, like, your butt kicked again by social media, which is annoying.
Yeah, look, man, it's a fine line what you put out there. I've got 3 or 4 platforms with over 130 groups that I participate in nationally. It took me a long time to earn my stripes in those groups to participate and talk about our shows. And we've been shut down since October 13th, since we talked about truth. So, right behind big tech and this attack on our lives and our freedom. And, it was just the other day that, Dorsey was backtracking on censoring. Now we have the government ramping back up. It's really interesting, isn't it interesting that Pfizer and Moderna, and it's proven, we're still, even whether there's a straight line of how they were incentivized to solve this virus, but even Trump's wins. He is still our president right now. And it gets released afterwards. And then suddenly the left reactionary is that, oh my gosh, we need to lock down these states afterwards while we're in this Biden situation. So my question on Thanksgiving is, regardless of your Thanksgiving, regardless of your reserves, regardless of your money, regardless of your freedom, the left is willing to overprove its point for a few more months, destroy your wealth, destroy your holiday until the election is resolved. So COVID is politicized. We all know it. Anybody who says that this holiday is not being attacked is lying. Everybody's a rationalist. The left and right know. I mean, look at Gavin Newsom's meal at French Laundry the other night, right? Come on, sitting with the plutocrats of the highest up the medical association. Look at Garcetti. I mean, everybody's
If you watched my other show, Judd, you would see that I did a whole thing on the hypocrisy of that and the hypocrisy of Gavin Newsom. And again, I hate what they're doing with the lockdowns, but because I don't think they really work. Not because I think COVID isn't real, as I've said, because I think the lockdowns actually don't work, which is why California has been locked down, still locked down, and barely has a lower count than Florida, which is open and been open. But what bothers me almost even more is people's inability to sort of say anything. Matthew Shepard, the quarterback for the Detroit Lions' wife, did a little post on Instagram, and she was like, she's in Michigan. She's like, when the dictatorship in Michigan finally lets us up, because all these businesses are getting ruined and crushed.
Well,
and
Gretchen is the worst. I think she
made it. She said it.
Too far over the people.
Hold on. She said it was a dictatorship, and sort of jokingly, like I call Emperor Newsom. And she had to go back and apologize. And what happened was the NFL, the Lions came to her, Matthew Stafford, and were like, you got to get her to take that back. So she sort of half apologized and said, I'm sorry. I was just mad. My friend's business was going under. It's just really hard. It's hard on everybody. It's hard on people who are sick. And I was like, you know what? Well, you don't have to take back that you think you clearly know it's not literally a dictatorship, but that Michigan's governor is acting like a dictator in literally ordering these massive, harsh lockdowns on everyone and they are somewhat arbitrary, right, Judd? They kind of liberty gets taken away is sort of relative. You can't have people over for Thanksgiving. You can't have any social gatherings. You can't have your restaurant open. But again, you can go to a protest. I mean, that's still
masked in the home, 6 people, no singing. I mean, come on, man. What is this, North Korea? I thought it was North Korea when big tech that tracked our freedom a couple of months ago. I don't care if I'm a little bit radical about freedom. I am radical about freedom. I'm not radical to the right. I'm not radical to the left. I'm radically American. So if people want to step on my neck, you know what? I still haven't seen enough. You did the stats in Florida on your show as it relates to California. You are absolutely correct.
No, but Monkey Arms, you're wrong. Monkey Arms, you're wrong. We talked about this. Florida does not have 200 times the deaths of California. It has I think it's lower than California. And its infection counts, if you look over the last week, are 6 people per 100,000 higher than California. That's 6 more people per 100,000 people getting it. I'm here. It is not, people are not dropping dead. People walk around LA like literally the plague has hit them. People walk around Florida left and right like things are basically normal, but we have an infectious disease and we need to be careful and wear masks and be conscious about things and socially distance when appropriate, all that stuff. And there's similar outcomes. Our hospitals are not more crowded than California's. Our death rate is actually lower and our infection rate's just marginally higher. I just came out of
the hospital, by the way. You're absolutely right. I mean, the hospitals were not crowded. I just came to the hospital for 3 or 4 days. And reluctantly, I got my first COVID test, which was negative, which is fine with me. I think I already had it like at the very beginning. So look,
I kind of want to get I kind of want to get an antibody test, to be honest, because I'm kind of curious if I had it.
Yeah, I got one as well. I didn't have it as well. And then right as I was getting on the plane to go surfing in March, here's why I'm really angry. Right as I got on the plane, I always go to a surf trip to just completely tune out. I go to the airport. On the way to the airport that evening, the government shuts down my ticket to Costa Rica, like took away my chance, man. So now my family won't travel because nobody wants to test. Nobody in this family is taking the vaccine. Listen, I want to tell you something. You guys, it sounds like you're cool with the entire mask lie because I can tell you, I see a lot of.
Don't, Judd. Don't. We were doing so good, man.
No, I'm not going to
mask lie.
Why, Rob? Why, when I go to absolute truth, do you
it's
have
not
to
absolute truth? Come on.
I've got people in my life. I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to be a shit.
Judd, again, you're so extreme, dude. You really,
I swear to God. About me and like 75 million Americans just believe
no.
Americans.
The mask
thing has been politicized. It's a hoax.
You can't get a word in edgewise with this guy. Just away.
Let's go.
No, you're just going to. You again. Don't be the left. Don't just talk over it to get around it. The mask lie.
Thank you.
The mask lie, Judd. It's not a lie that masks work. It's a lie that masks will keep you from getting this disease no matter what. It's a fact that bandanas and neck gaiters actually spread the virus faster because it breaks the particles up. But it's not a mask lie. Go to any hospital, go to any OR. They put masks on.
Yeah, where everybody's
hold on. They keep them a mask on in ORs to keep them from getting whatever infection is in the room, not COVID, whatever it is. Masks clearly work to keep your spit from hitting other people and from their spit from hitting you. That doesn't mean they're not hazmat suits and there's no point wearing them on the beach. You don't need to wear them around people you know. But to pretend it's a mask lie to say masks don't work, come on, you just lose your credibility, dude.
Don't lose your credibility, man. You don't even talk about. The government said 2 million people were going to die. 3 times the cold season came in. America shut down. We destroyed our GDP by 35%. Because a couple people die. I'm not going to live in this meta lie that people don't die during flu season, man. That's what happens. You don't destroy an entire national company, and then you ship. Look, Biden would have never won if COVID didn't happen.
Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. But you know what you're doing?
I don't think you won. I'm saying.
Guys, I'm giving you a lesson on the left. Everyone on the left. What Judd is doing, sorry, dude. But this is what you guys did. I said very rationally, masks work. They're not a save-all, but clearly they work. Clearly they work to prevent the spread of anything. That's why they wear them in hospitals all the time before COVID. And I said they're not hazmat suits. And I've criticized the lockdowns, dude. I criticized the excessiveness. I acknowledged 2 sides on this. And your response to that was to discredit me by going completely around it and saying, I'm not going to buy that lockdowns are good. And I never said anything about the lockdowns being good. I said masks work.
Yeah. So what this is this attempt that you're making. This is the fallacy. It presumes that a claim is poorly.
I need more mac and cheese.
The fallacy has been made and is necessarily wrong. Argument structure doesn't determine truth. If it did, every left-right argument would have a winner. The good thing about being conservative is we sit in the rationality of just what is good, true, normal. It's a lot easier to be to the right, Rob. It's a lot easier. You should come over from the center. I can tell it's wearing you down.
All right, Jim Stock. Jim Stock is no mask wearing guy. You know, Jim Stock doesn't walk around wearing a mask, but he puts it on occasionally, but he's not a masker in that sense. And his point, Judd, what's frustrating here is it's a simple thing. People wear masks for decades to prevent the spread of anything in a biology lab, in a hospital. That's what doctors do. I wear the same mask that doctors wear. To insist that masks don't not spread the disease is just, it's just, come on, man.
Dude, come on.
You can say it's not.
Why are you doing a black and white, saying that there's either one way or a right way?
I didn't say there's one way or the other. I said masks work.
Specific evidence for masks. Massive.
I think you're freezing. Somebody's freezing. Who's freezing on our stream?
Huh?
One of us is freezing.
Let me check.
Rob, it might be you. Rob, it might be you, because Judd and I are fine.
Hello. I'm actually frozen on my screen as well. But are we, guys in the audience? Who's freezing?
Judd, now you're.
Throw over to Rob.
You know what, Judd? That was bad that you did that. COVIDed me out.
What do you mean?
I know you used your superpower COVID technology to make me go away, to make my stream bad because you didn't want to hear my point.
Dude, I swear you're not there.
How come I can't see Judd?
Would be worse than a.
Where's Judd? What happened to Judd? Judd, are you being blocked by Twitter right now, Judd? Probably. Hey, Crafty, is that Judd's thing?
Yeah, this is Judd right now.
Is he blocked?
Yeah, I think he is. Judd, see if you can try to refresh your browser.
Judd, you're being blocked by Twitter and Facebook. All right, guys. We're almost wrapping up anyway. That was fun. Listen, until Judd comes back, I've COVID blocked Judd, so I get the screen all to myself. So, Judd, oh, there he's back. Dude, you went black on us. You know, I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it was Facebook, Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg. I swear it wasn't me. I did not do it. I don't censor other people's opinions. I keep them open. So, is this better, Judd? Was today better? Were you happier with today?
You know, what I'm appreciating about this show versus Bullet Point Nation, our other show at bulletpointnation.com, if you'd like to come see us, is, you know, I have a Newsmax and Humanics books that just hit the market internationally through Ingram. And we're going to be on Spicer and Stritchfield this week. Got a bunch of interviews coming up. What I appreciate about being on the show with you, Rob, is I feel like I'm in training camp. With you to see how many ways you can like negate my point, because I'm not with my own crowd. So you're just gonna hail it down on me. I thought it was a little safer in the center, but I'm questioning it because I am going to say.
Wait. Here's my question.
A lot of people think like me, Rob.
I know they do.
Stupid, and we're not a lesser person.
You know what?
And we're not uninvestigated, and we do natural truth, just really simply.
Judd, have not once suggested, this is your own insecurity, dude. Not once suggested.
You're attacking me. You must think I have
not once suggested you're not intelligent. Not once suggested, you know, whatever else you just accused me of. I not made one personal attack. I said I disagree with your views in certain things, and I've challenged your refusal to answer certain things more directly. That's not questioning your integrity, your intelligence, or your manhood. But I have noticed when I try to get yes or no questions from you, you won't do them. But watch this, Judd. I know. Watch this. I can get you to say yes or no. Judd, are you a man?
Wait a minute. Why was my manhood mentioned?
Are you a man?
Yes, I am a man.
Oh yes, you gave me a yes. Judd.
Coming next.
Judd, are you a liberal?
I'm not I'm a classical liberal. I believe in government staying out.
Are you a leftist?
I am not a leftist.
Oh, are you a conservative?
I am a conservative.
Awesome. Will you acknowledge if they can't prove this stuff in court that they lost and Biden's president?
Look, I think you're approaching this in you're approaching this in a composition division element. You're bringing a bunch of different points together, trying to make a point. The point is
trying to get you to say yes or no.
No, will the left, will the right, will the right. Hold on. Let me say something. It's really important. You don't want to miss this. This is good.
Okay. I'm edge of my seat.
Really special. Will the right raise into resistance the way that the left rose up around George Floyd and how that was hijacked and politicized and caused problem on the streets and tear down businesses and kill like 18 other people, which was minimized. If the court evidence is thrown through, and then we go to a constitutional electoral process and that fails, and then if we go to Dominion being thrown out, everything falls apart. Will the right allow a peaceful transition? Yes. Will the right participate throughout the next 4 years with the left in governing? Absolutely not. Yeah, we don't feel like it was honestly won. There was real fraud. It's so close that it doesn't mean we should change path course and accommodate.
That's by the way, that's not what I asked. I don't disagree. I was asking to try to get you to give a yes or no from inside, which you still won't do. That's fine. But I don't think the right should, after this is over, just go quietly into the night. I think they should remain strong and active. 70 million plus people wanted this election to go a different way than I think it's going to go. And those people should be out there. They should be moving their agenda forward. We need a counter to the cancel culture movement out there. We need platforms for independent voices. We need a way around Twitter, Facebook censorship. We need to push back against cancel culture and what I think is a dangerous lockdown of personal authority in this country with everything we have. That we need to do. I just merely think it's time pretty soon to accept that you may not have the president you want in place to do that, and probably won't. And that's okay, because I actually think Trump will run again in 2024 and win in a landslide.
I think it was a tough decision, tough statement that Monkey Arms just made. So I want to address it. I think it was really good, Rob. Is if it's not convenient, it doesn't save one person, everything we're going through. I mean, the conservatism is based upon the reality of the greater good. And it's unfortunately people are going to die in a flu season. Unfortunately, that security and financial prosperity as it relates to mental health, abuse, suicide, all these other elements is as important as a virus. It's a sad thing. I don't say let's just march on and not care about our citizens. This is scary, but I will say I happen to be a very social person who knows thousands and thousands of people. I've yet to see like one person in my circle. I haven't yet to see one person on the street. I've yet to see. I was in the hospital. And I heard somebody say when I was in the hospital, "Oh, make sure." Hold on, let me just tell you something. Oh, make sure to mark that. Just make sure to mark the flu and COVID on my case.
Right, I believe it.
Like, what?
Listen.
I heard people changing files to make things COVID to make more money. Why the hospital?
My whole thing, and we're almost out of time, but my whole thing is, you say I beat up on you, whatever. I actually want you to be, I want the people I know on the right to be more effective at capturing the people in the middle and winning them over, because I think you can. And hold on, come on. Let me finish.
I know, I'm going to argue with you. Then give me an honest opportunity to ask me my thoughts.
So all I'm saying is, I feel too many people on the right, because they feel defensive, because they felt attacked for so long, are doing a lot the same thing the other way. And my bottom line with COVID, and to Monkey Arm's comment about one person not worth the inconvenience, and Judd, you said people die in a flu season. I would say, let's be honest. It's not a typical flu season. A typical flu season kills 60,000 people in a really bad year. We're already up to 250,000, even if you have people who really didn't die of it for that. It's still a huge number. And it is a highly infectious disease, which we don't have a vaccine for. That said, and that does make it deadly and dangerous. But that said, it's an asymptomatic disease for almost half the population. It does not seem to affect young people very badly at all. In some cases, it kills mostly older and sick people, which is too bad. And the cost of locking down to protect that population isn't worth it when you are killing off so much of the rest of the population's ability to literally have a future. And the minute you unlock, you still have the same problem, which is people getting sick and dying. So that's why I argue to Monkey Arms, it's not about a minor inconvenience. It's about California going back into another shutdown. Literally, I mean, there are businesses that even thought they could make it. They're done. I mean, millions of people's lives are ruined for decades. That is not an insignificant cost. That is a cost you can weigh against the number of deaths. It's a fair thing to look at.
Yeah, 30 seconds, guys.
So I want to ask our participants. I want to thank Jimmy and Monkey Arms, and it's great again to see talk to me with Taylor Ferber and everybody who's coming to the show. So tell us what you want. So this is the anti-show. It's interesting right now. I'm going to tell you, when you do a talk show, you go out with an intention and a format, and you're saying, hey, what's not happening out there? Like, how are people arguing? So if you have suggestions for Rob and I, please hit us on all of our socials. Please let us know what you think, where we should go. Yep. And I love bringing real food in because I love food. I'm the vegan. Right. So follow me if you're vegan.
Get his mug off the screen. Get his mug off the screen in our last 30 seconds. Judd, I love you, man. Follow us at Bullet Points Nation, at Rob Nelson Live.
Bullet Point Nation.
Cool, he listens. Is there an S in Bullet Points Nation? No.
There is not.
So you can give me yes or no answers when you need to. I'm not funny, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a comic.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right, but next week we're back and love doing this. Yeah, want what Judd said. What Judd? What
remember, socialism is only good for people who suck. Yeah,
don't go there. Don't go there. Left, right, right, or center. Bring it on, you guys.
And the Trump administration is going to give us a chance. Wait,
can we mute his microphone?
Love each other. Hold on, Rob.
No. We're out of time, dude. You had your window. No.
Bring in
if I had a mute button,
everything that you're doing, and just be grateful for this great nation. Because regardless of what's happened, we're so free, we're so blessed.
Wow.
Take us home.
You had to get your last little.
No, I'm sending love, buddy. How do you want to end the show?
I want to send the show by thanking people for trying to be open-minded on both sides of this, because we're not solving any of these problems on one extreme or the other. It's not happening. It's not how life works. It's like any relationship. It's a compromise, and that's true in life. It's true in your personal life. It's true in your work life, and it's true in a nation's life. That's how I want to end it.
Are we going to stay on Reddit?
I don't know. We just went. I don't know what happened. I think are we there?
I'm trying to wrap you guys up. Say goodbye.
Well, can we stay on Reddit?
We just did.
All right.
We just pulled up the screen.
I'm cutting the feed.